Great things take time. At the meat shop, we take pride in knowing that our network of farmers take the time to raise livestock right. At the meat shop in Dexter, you'll find the highest quality, locally sourced meat. Have the confidence that what's on your table is always quality.
Welcome to Very Interesting. With my guest today is Greg Killebrew of a Positive Brotherhood. Greg, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, sir, for having me.
You've got a story that the whole world needs to hear, so I want to share that with the world today, our viewers. So let's just get right to work.
Okay.
But I'm really excited about this show because you've got a great story.
Yes, sir.
Tell us where you grew up.
I grew up in Malden, Missouri. I had six brothers and sisters. I'm the baby boy, my mama's boy. So it's been good here in Malden. I love it.
I could tell before we went on camera and talking to you previously that you are a mama's boy.
Yes, sir.
I know now why. You're the baby. You're the favorite.
Yeah.
So when you were a child, we're building up to talk about the Positive Brotherhood. When you were a child, did you get in trouble a lot?
Yes, sir. I got in trouble a lot. My mom I got a few whoopings for not doing what she told me from my mom and my dad. And, I just got in some trouble, man. I was doing everything under the sun. So you name it, I was probably doing it.
So you're not denying that you got in trouble?
No, sir. I'm not denying it,
Your mom didn't think you were an angel then?
Yeah, she knew I could do better. That's what it was. But I wasn't trying to do better. So she wanted to give me a couple of whoopings and stuff,
So where was this in Malden? Did you go to school at Malden?
I went to school here in Malden High School, Green Wave all the way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So did you have any male role models growing up? I mean, what got you going on the right course or the wrong course? Was there any male role models at that time?
Growing up, Don Clayton, man. He was our guy. Everybody wanted to play football like him. And we had some older guys in the community, Carl Holloway, Mr. Barber, who owned the restaurant. Mr. Wilson, he drove the bus for us and kept us in order. And Mr. Lonely was one of our school teachers, man. So, yes, sir.
So they made a positive impact on your life.
Yes, sir, they did.
So were there any groups like Positive Brotherhood that you were involved in when you were at that age?
No, sir, not really, man. It wasn't. It was just the guys in the community that tell us to go home before the street lights come on. And if we didn't, they would walk us home.
So it's like the neighborhood patrol, neighborhood watch program.
Yes, sir.
So what was a turning point in your life, though, where you had a time in your life where you could have went one way or the other and you picked the wrong pathway? When was that?
I was about 14, man. I took a pass for the worst and started doing everything, selling drugs, stealing car stereos, bicycles, and I kept getting in trouble. So my mom was like, hey, we're going to do better than what we're doing. So I wound up being moved to Chicago with my oldest sister. And I got up there and got into some trouble because that's what I was used to doing, just getting in trouble.
And this all started at age 14 right here in Malden?
Sir, right here in Malden.
And did you just need the money, or was it how you got off stealing stuff, or what was it?
Seeing guys in the street, man, the other guys standing on the corner and, just wanting, I guess, to be like them, So I started doing stuff, to keep money, So, yeah, marijuana and stealing bicycles and car stereos, that was my thing.
So you went from stealing to, did you start the drug trade or getting on drugs or selling drugs at age 14 here in Malden too?
Yeah, I got on marijuana here in Malden. I moved to Chicago and got into the bigger drugs and stuff like that. And got hooked on drugs, got hooked on alcohol, drinking and drugging. That was my thing. And having a good time. I guess that's what we call it, having a good time.
So at that point in time, were you making a lot of money selling drugs? And at what age were you at this time?
I was up in around about 18. I was making pretty good money, but, problems came and I had to do some time for it,
So from age 14 to 18, you never got caught?
Never got caught.
What was your first, what did you get caught for the first time?
My first time was an armed robbery and assault with a weapon.
Were you guilty of that crime?
Yes, I was guilty. Yeah, I was guilty of it, man.
Did you plead guilty to that?
I pled guilty to it, and I had 14 years. I served, I really served about 10 years of it.
So from age 18 to 28, you were in prison. Where were you in prison at?
State of Illinois. I went from Cook County Jail, from Sangamon County Jail to different places, Graham, Jacksonville, Taylorville, Big Muddy River, all those places like that, man, all those prisons over there. I went to about 4 or 5 different prisons over there.
So Greg, it would be fair to say from age 14 to 28, you really didn't have a life.
No,
right?
I never grew up, man. I'm still a kid at heart now, if you want to speak on it. That's really the
I think
deal.
we all are.
Yep.
Yes. But you had a choice. And
Yes,
you made
sir.
the wrong choice.
And I made the wrong choice.
And so what was it like being in prison? Was it shocking for you? Was it everything that scary that everybody told you? Or what was it like for you?
Well, really being in prison, in some cases it can be scary. In some cases it can be, just a normal day. But most of the time, you got 1,000 guys in prison with different attitudes. So you got to keep your eyes open, watch your surroundings. Don't hang out with a lot of people. Kind of stay to yourself, and be a loner,
So did you get a lot of fights? I'm sure you,
No,
like you said, you were still a child at heart. Did you go in there thinking you were the toughest guy in there?
No, I'll be honest with you. I ran with a gang of guys, I was in a gang called the Gangster Disciples at one time. I was in a gang with them, and I was pretty much okay. I didn't have any problems.
So you never really felt unsafe in prison?
No, I didn't.
So while you were in prison, though, your brother passed away.
Yes, I got out of Illinois and came to Missouri, and I got a crime here in Malden. And I was in prison in, I think Pacific, Missouri. And my brother passed away from cirrhosis of the liver.
So let's back up a little bit. At age 28, you got out of prison. Then you come back to Malden.
I
You
come
thought
back
you
to
was going to
Malden.
have a new, fresh start in your hometown.
Yeah, I thought I'd have a new fresh start.
So how long did it take for you to get back in trouble?
About a year.
So at age 30,
Yeah.
you're right back in the
Yeah.
prison system.
I'm back locked up again.
And you're in Pacific, Missouri?
Yep, in Pacific, Missouri.
And that was for robbery?
Yes, sir.
And I'm sure you were on parole at that time, so you probably had...
No, I finished my time up with them.
So you're clean
Yeah.
when you come out?
Yeah, I was clean when I came out. I finished my time up and everything. And I came here looking for a fresh start, and at first things was kind of good. But man, I was one of them guys that stayed in trouble, man. I didn't get the picture in prison, so I came home, got into some trouble, wound up going to prison here, being in Pacific, the walls, up into the walls, Bunter, Fulton, been to quite a bit of penitentiaries here.
So from now we're at age 14 to 30 and you're back in prison again.
Yeah.
You've only been out for 1 to 1.5 years. So how long were you in prison that time?
This time I was in prison for 9.5 years. I did 9.5 years here in the state of Missouri.
So Greg, you've wasted age 14 to 39. So 14 to 39, you took the wrong path.
I took the wrong path, man.
And was it while you were in Missouri that your brother passed away? Did that have a big
Yeah, I
bearing
was in
on you?
Missouri when my brother passed away. And yes, it did, because, I didn't get to say goodbye to him. I didn't get to hug him, really say anything to him. I had talked to him previously on the phone, but I didn't even know he had got sick like that. And one day they came to get me and took me up front and said, hey, your brother passed away. So it was
What happened to your brother?
He had cirrhosis of the liver.
And how old was he?
At that time, he was probably about 50-something years old.
He's young to pass
Yeah,
away.
yeah.
After prison, well, let me back up. Was that your last stint in prison when you went through
No,
Missouri?
no.
So we're still on that track.
It was still on that track.
The bad road. So you're around 38 or 39 when you got out of prison
Yeah.
for that.
Mm-hmm.
Your robbery in Malden.
Yeah.
So you got out, then you went where?
I came back to Malden. I had a pretty good life. I was doing stuff, washing cars. I worked out here on the air base for a guy detailing planes and washing cars and stuff like that. And I was still moving marijuana, and I got caught again moving marijuana by the feds. So when the feds caught me up, I went in federal lockup. I went to Cape first, then they locked me up. And I did like 3 months, and they brought me back in front of the judge. But at this time, I kind of, I was just getting tired, you know what I mean? So they brought me back in front of the judge and talked to me, and the judge gave me 5 years paper this time. He said, I'm gonna give you 5 years paper. He says, and I want
Which 5 years paper for all?
for parole.
Okay, so
And-
no prison time.
No.
I bet you felt relieved.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did, because I didn't want to go back to prison. But, I made that bed, so I had to lay in it, So I got 5 years paper. I came home after they sent me to treatment. I went to treatment in Clinton, Missouri, a place called Pathways. I went there, and I don't know, I just had a thought in my brain that it was time for me to do the right thing. And
How old were you at this time?
About 50 something, maybe 49, 50.
So when the judge kind of gave you a second chance, that was kind of your turning point then.
Yeah.
Like, I've got to grow up. I've got to straighten up.
Yeah.
It's time.
It's
now,
time.
now or never.
Now or never.
So tell us a little bit about that turning point, because you made a promise to your mother.
Yeah. I made, in life, I made promises and promises to my mom that I was gonna do the right thing. I never did the right thing. I always got back in trouble. And when I got the treatment, man, it was just, I was tired. I was drained. I didn't have any more energy for the prison system or, doing anything wrong. I wanted to do the right thing. So I just started praying, man. And my mom had always told me to pray. She said, pray when things are wrong and pray when things are right. So I started praying one night, man, and I woke up, and the next morning I was like, something's gonna change. I just knew it. So I got released, came home, and I thought about my life, what I was gonna do. I didn't know what I was gonna do, but God had a vision for me. And I believe that vision is I'm gonna get you out of everything you in, but I'm gonna need you to do some things for me. And I took that and ran with it. And I ain't never looked back.
And that was about 5 years ago, 10 years ago? When
Well,
was
it's
that?
been about, it'll be 7 years in October, 2014.
7 years.
Yeah. It'll be 7 years.
So
in
you got a
October.
second chance on life. You got your
Yes,
life
sir.
back.
Yes, sir.
Not one time that you really thought that I'm not guilty, right?
No. I've been guilty for all my crimes, man. I just had to face them and realize that I was guilty, You know how you always say, oh, they picking on me, the police is doing this, the police is doing that, but I was guilty for all my crimes.
So tell us a little bit more, Greg, about the promise that you made to your mom, because we get into it a little bit, but that really meant a lot to you to keep your word to your mom. It took a while, but you finally done it.
Right. This time I came home, and it was just time for me to stop, man. I was tired. I didn't have nothing else left. And all I wanted to do was put a smile on my mom's face for the first time. And I came home and I visited with her, and I told her I was done. I said, I'm not going back to jail. And she just looked at me. She didn't say nothing, but she just looked at me, because she probably remembered the other times I've told her I was going to do the right thing. Mm-hmm. And I didn't. So this time I made that promise, and I stuck with it.
You made that promise to your mom, and you made that promise to God.
Yep.
And actually, from what you told me, your life started turning around for the positive.
Yes, sir, it did. It started turning around for the positive. I woke up one day at home, and I decided I was going to start telling people about my story. Mm-hmm. I said, well, I got to just put this out here. So I rented a room at the community center here in Malden, and I invited people to come hear me speak. And I just wrote some stuff on the board and started talking about it. And next thing I know, the room was filled up and I was getting nervous, but I went on and did it. And then I had another one. I did another one about a month later. And I had more people than the previous time. So after that, I stopped for about a week and started thinking about what I really wanted to do in life. So I started back washing cars. I started back washing planes. I worked at Kentucky Fried Chicken for $7.35 an hour. And then I started saying, okay, I'm gonna start the Positive Brotherhood.
Positive Brotherhood. That's what's brought us together today.
Yes, sir. Positive Brotherhood. And a lot of people didn't. They was like, well, he's gonna be in jail another month. You know, he's gonna be back out on drugs. But I use it all as motivation and use what God told me, that I'm gonna get you out of everything you in. I just need you to do some things.
But at that time, Greg, your mom didn't have faith in you.
Nope.
You didn't have faith in yourself.
Nope.
Really, to turn this around, because it's the same pattern every time. But
Yes, sir.
you decided today was the day.
Today was the day.
And you actually, and you tagged yourself with me as a dangerous felon.
Yes,
right?
sir. Yes, sir.
When you get stopped by the police, it comes up as dangerous felon.
When I get stopped by the police, it comes up as dangerous felon.
Well, let's get into that a little bit.
Okay.
How difficult is it? You've got a really good job right now, and I want you to tell our viewers about your job. But it's very difficult for a dangerous felon to get employment anywhere. And I think it's ironic where you're working at now,
Right.
because somebody in that judicial system gave you a second chance. But
Yes,
I'll let
sir.
you tell the audience.
What happened on that is, man, like I said, I was washing airplanes and working at Kentucky Fried Chicken. And a friend of mine called, well, I was washing a car actually. And he said, what are you doing, man? I said, oh, I'm just washing cars. He said, well, man, he said, you need a better job. And I laughed. I said, well, I hope you can find me one. He says, Thursday, I want you to go down to the courthouse in Kennett and fill out an application for the maintenance guy. And I laughed. I said, man, I'm a dangerous felon in 2 states. They're not going to hire me. And he laughed. He said, don't worry about it. You just go do it. So I did it. I went and filled out the application, talked to the guys down there. They said they would call me and let me know whether I had the job or didn't have the job. I came back home, man, and went to work at Kentucky Fried Chicken. And the weekend came. I didn't hear nothing from them the whole week. So I said, well, okay. So Monday morning, I went to Kentucky Fried Chicken. Me and my boss was in there unloading a truck. And all of a sudden, the phone rang. And I told my boss, I said, man, my hands are full of flour. Can you grab my phone for me? He said, yeah. So he grabbed my phone. He said, man, this is an 888 number. I said, really? He said, yeah. So I answered it, and it was Mr. Don Collins from Kennett. And he says, I got you on speakerphone here. And I said, okay. He says, we want to give you that job. And I cried all the way to Kennett. People don't even know that. He wanted me to come down there that day. He said, can you be here at 10:30? I said, yes, sir. So I went home, took a shower, put on some clothes, and cried all the way to Kennett. And when I got there, I was like, God is good, you know. So I started working for the county, man. I've been working for the county now 4 years.
And that's the kind of judicial system you want to be a part of, right?
Yes, sir. Not on the other side.
Well, the reason we're here today, Greg, is to talk about Positive Brotherhood.
Okay.
So you started making a few speeches here and there, and you started getting some crowds, and you really wanted to see, you wanted to make the community better.
Yeah, yeah.
So you wanted to get the community involved and help teens where they wouldn't take your same path.
That's right.
So tell us how Positive Brotherhood was born.
Okay, it was born sitting in my front yard at 402 Wonder Drive in Malden.
Wait a minute, say that again. Somebody might want to come and visit you.
402 Wonder Drive in Malden,
Gotcha.
Missouri. I was sitting on the front porch, man, thinking about my life. And I said I was going to start the Positive Brotherhood. And people looked at me like I was crazy when I first started talking about it. But I started it by myself. I picked guys that I thought was doing positive in the community and going to work and living a family life that I thought would be, you know, good guys to help lead these kids in the right way. And I had about 9 guys, and we went alone for about 4 or 5 months. And I got to getting calls. Well, I started just doing different little things for the kids in the park. You know, we'd have fun day in the park for the kids, bouncy houses, blah, blah. Little water slides and stuff like that. And one day they had a few shootings in my community, and I decided that I was going to do a gun violence rally in Malden. And I did. I did a gun violence rally. And after I did the gun violence rally, seemed like the phone just started ringing off the hook, you know, and 𝐓𝐍𝐈𝐆 came down and videoed it. I had about 350 people there. I brought in mothers who have lost their sons to gun violence. And I brought t-shirts. I brought about 300 and some t-shirts, and we were selling them. And we was giving the mothers a shirt. And I did a speech about gun violence, man, and it went over.
And there's a lot of teens locally, not just Malden, that need this type of positive role models in their life, right?
Yes, sir.
So how do you identify the need? Does it come to you, or do you try to locate it yourself?
My thing is, man, I've been a kid, okay? And I know kids in the community. I know what a kid sees nowadays. That's what they want to imitate, and because I did it. So if I can stop a kid from doing what I did, if I can only change one kid's life, I've did some parts of my job, you know. But right now, I've got a bunch of kids that in 𝐓𝐻𝐃, 𝐓𝐻𝐃, Caruthersville. I got some in Malden, you know. So I deal with a lot of different kids, man, and all over. So I get a chance to sit down and talk to them. I got some kids in 𝐓𝐻𝐃 I see. I do a program for Judge Spielman on Wednesday nights. I speak to about 25, 30 kids. I'm at C-Star twice a month. I'm at the drug center for the drug program. So I do a lot of different stuff, but me, I know the kids, man. I've been a kid, and I know what a kid see. That's what they want to imitate.
So since 2015 until today, how many people are involved in Positive Brotherhood as far as, like Robert Reed's a good friend of mine. He worked for me at one time.
Right.
And I know Robert Reed's not going to be hanging around any drug dealers.
That's right.
He's a positive force for his community.
That's right.
So how many adults are in the room? How many people do you have involved with that? And how many teens or kids do you have that are participating with the Positive Brotherhood?
I got 5 young men in the program, and I probably got about 20 different kids that we deal with now.
So did the kids come to you?
No, I go to them mostly. Yeah.
So you're not waiting for the problem to come to you.
No.
You're seeking out the problem kids.
Yeah.
Because you can see some of them
I can
yourself in some of them.
Yes, sir. I have a kid in 𝐻𝐃 that I can see myself in him right now. But the big thing about that is me and Larry Smith went to see him. And right now he has a job. He's been working, he graduated high school. He has a job. He's been working his job for 3 years, and he's getting ready to have his first baby.
How has the Positive Brotherhood changed your life since you started it?
It's therapy for me, man. It's therapy. It helps me stay on track. And if I see a kid that's getting off track, man, and I know I can help them, that's therapy to me. It helps me.
How has the Positive Brotherhood changed, evolved, or grown since 2015?
Wow. Man, we've grown. I started off locally, and I guarantee you right now, we're probably St. Louis, Kansas City area. I just haven't did any programs that way because of the pandemic. But we were booked in Clinton, Missouri, which is like 80 miles from Kansas City. We had 2 programs to do up there for the juvenile and the adult drug program. I've been to Salvation Army there in Cape plenty of times and was going back. I've been to the schools here in this area. I've been to Charleston with Pastor Floyd Wade. Yeah, I've been over his church.
Parma, Missouri guy, I know him.
That's right.
I lived in Parma for a while.
That's
yes.
right.
Good guy.
I've been over his church, doing programs for him and being involved in stuff he has going on. And I did some things with some mothers, you know, trying to get a sisterhood started here in Malden.
I was going to ask you about that. It's Positive Brotherhood, but do we have a positive
sisterhood?
Yes.
No, we don't. But my niece, Whitney Killebrew, has a program, Malden Community Action Group. And I get together with her and do things to help her out, you know. And we always do the Thanksgiving feast together to feed the homeless or the kids or the elderly, anyone that wants to eat for real.
Well, Greg, how's COVID-19 affected Positive Brotherhood in the last year?
Man, it's really affected us. We're a nonprofit organization and we get our money by donations or we have fundraisers. Well, we wasn't able to do any fundraisers to kind of raise money. And now the pandemic is kind of letting up, and we got so much going on. We got athletic day for the kids, which is basketball and football, flag football in the park. We also want to have a mechanical thing where we teach them how to work on cars and stuff like that. And we also want to have a day where we teach carpentry to the kids. We got some guys we're going to be working with. And then we didn't do the Christmas thing last year, and we didn't do much of a back to school program last year. So we want to get more into that and help these kids, man. They need help.
A lot of people don't realize it, but a lot of the restaurants have been closed because of COVID, but a lot of the fundraisers and donors have been shut down for COVID too.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of nonprofits that have suffered this
Yes,
year.
sir.
They're really strapped for money, but I'm glad you kept pushing through the COVID and had all these activities for these kids, because it's well much needed.
Mm-hmm.
So what does the future hold for Positive Brotherhood?
Man, we're looking to build our own building. We want our building. We want a building for us, And we really would like to open up a gymnasium here in Malden and do stuff with kids, whether school work, a game room, basketball tournaments. Just keep them kids in a secluded area where we can get them to understand there's something better to life than standing on a street corner, selling drugs, going to prison, doing shootings, because man, life is too short, and we losing kids here now lately. A bunch of kids has been getting killed. So that's my focus for the Positive Brotherhood in the long run.
But how does someone get involved in the Positive Brotherhood if they want to get involved?
If they want to get involved, they can contact me on my phone number, 573-246-4739, or they can inbox me on Facebook, or they can hit my Positive Brotherhood page. I'm also got a page on Facebook, but they can hit my Positive Brotherhood page and contact me. I work in Kennett every day, Monday through Friday, so I work at the courthouse and the Justice Center. So if you're in Kennett, you want to talk to me, or if somebody from 𝐓𝐻𝐿𝐼 or surrounding areas want to get in touch with me, just come there.
Greg, thank you so much for being on the show today. You're doing a lot of great things for the youth out there in Southeast Missouri, not just Dunklin County, but the whole area. And I don't know when you have time to sleep with a full-time job and doing all this on the side for the kids, but thank you very much for being on the show. It's been my pleasure.
Thank you for having me, sir.
It's been great to get to know you too. There's one thing we talked about though. I'm not going to end the show on that. We're going to have a little bonus coverage here.
All right.
I asked you before we went on the air about a young African-American teen when they get their driver's license. You've had a lot of interaction with the police in your lifetime. So you've got a great view of, what you should have done different, or you did the right thing. But what do you, there's a lot of police stuff on TV right now in African-American police brutality. What's your advice to that young African-American who just got their driver's license, is scared to be pulled over by the police?
My advice is to when the police pull you over, turn the lights on, make sure you got your seatbelt on, give them the license, your registration, your insurance card. Don't run up and say, when they walk up, don't just say, "Why did you pull me over?" Let them do their job. You make sure you do yours, because I'm really tired of seeing black kids getting killed for no reason at all. Maybe they do have a gun, maybe they don't. Some people have a to carry and concealed weapon to carry it. So, just do your job and give them the license, registration, insurance card, and let them do their job and you do yours. Be respectful to them and they be respectful to you. That's my point to them.
And did you practice that the times that you got arrested? Were you mad at the police or did you cooperate?
I was always mad at the police sometimes. But since I've been a dangerous felon, I had a few pullovers, man. I just let them do their job. That's it. I just let them do their job. I know they're gonna say, "Hey, you're a dangerous felon. We need to get you out the car. We need to take you back here. We need to handcuff you, take you back to the back car and see if you have any warrants or all that." And I done gave them all my information, so they'll take me to the car and check everything out. And once they check everything out, they let me go.
So if you got stopped for speeding or something, you're not worried, just cooperate and move on, correct?
That's right. If I got stopped for speeding, I mean, they're gonna give me a ticket. So if they don't give me a ticket, I'm still gonna, give them the license, registration, insurance card, make sure I have my seatbelt on. And when they go back there and check everything and they see that I am a dangerous felon, they call back up. They always call back up and come get me out the car.
Good tips. Thank you.
Yes, sir.